making today?
We're making Halloween cookies.
And who are we making them for? We're going to give them to who? Our friends.
Our friends.
So, let's get baking.
Let's get baking.
All right, so like Lexi said, we are going to be making Halloween sugar cookies with royal icing. Super simple. It seems a little daunting, royal icing, but I promise it's not hard at all. So this is like the easiest sugar cookie recipe ever, and it gives you those really nice crisp edges with a soft interior, and it's really great for holding up to the royal icing. So all you need for these sugar cookies is some dry ingredients, flour, that's 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. What's this?
Salt.
Yup, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And what's this?
Baking powder.
That's right, baking powder. And this is 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. So all we're gonna do is take these 3 dry ingredients, dump them into the flour, and then we're going to whisk it all together. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and dump that in there. Okay.
Take this.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
Now the baking powder.
Yup. Hold it tightly. If you have to hold it on the edge, that's fine. There you go. Dump it in there. Oh, pull it over the bowl. Pull it over the bowl. There you go. Dump it in there. Go ahead. Turn it up. Did you get it all? Let's see. Almost. Some of it tried to stick in the bottom, didn't it?
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to do that. See if you can dump the rest in there. Great job. And when all else fails, use your clean fingers, right? Because we got to what?
Wash our hands.
That's right. All right, so Lexi, you're going to take the whisk and you're going to whisk that together. And that's it for the dry ingredients that we'll add later. Good job. All right, that's good. So we're done with that. So you can just leave the whisk in there if you want. We're going to set that aside. And now we're going to work on our other mixture. Sugar and...
My sugar cookies.
What's this?
Butter.
Butter.
That we put on my toast.
And what's this?
Vanilla.
That's right, vanilla extract. And
1 egg.
1 egg, that's right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're only going to get a stand mixer, or you're going to want to have a handheld mixer. I mean, you could do this by hand, but it's a lot. So you're going to want to have that, and you're going to want to have your paddle attachment.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to do, actually, Lexi, is we're going to unwrap all these butters. All they had this time was these little ones, and you need 3/4 cup of room temperature butter. So I've been letting this sit out for a long time. And so we're going to unwrap them, and we are going to dump them in this bowl here. So you need 3/4 cup of unsalted room temperature butter.
I can.
Okay, did you get it? So you're going to unwrap like this.
That's okay if the butter gets on your finger.
That's right. All right, and then you're going to take this and dump it in there, okay? Good job.
Good job.
That's right. Go ahead, do the next one.
Okay, I'm going to open this part first.
Good job.
Butter is really sticky, so...
All right, now just hold it over the thing. You're about ready to go, it looks like. Because if it's room temperature, it'll just come right off there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, what we're going to add to this butter is the sugar, right? And how much sugar is this? This is 3/4 a cup of sugar. And you're going to take this, both hands, and you are going to dump the sugar in there, okay?
You can help me too.
Yep, you're doing good. You're doing good. Keep going. There we go. That's it. So then you are going to put this on your mixer with the paddle attachment, and you want to mix this up until it's smooth and creamy without any lumps, which usually takes about 2 minutes, but the key is you really want to make sure that it's nice and smooth and creamy. Okay, so now we have the butter all creamed together and smooth, and it's not lumpy, and that's what it looks like. So once we have it all smooth and creamy, we are going to add the egg and the vanilla to it and beat it on high for a couple of minutes. So Lexi, you are going to crack the egg, right? Good job. Getting there. A little more. A little more. There you go. Now hold it over. Great job.
That's okay if it gets a little messy.
That's all right. Great job.
You can get paper towels.
Mm-hmm.
And you can wipe your hands off.
That's right. Okay. Do you want to add the egg into here?
Yeah.
Be very careful and hold it with both hands, okay? Good job.
That's okay if it gets more messy because you can
Yes. All right, the other thing we have to do is add in our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And that egg was room temperature, by the way. So you want to make sure that your egg has been sitting out just like you let your butter sit out. Just let it sit out on the counter. All right. So you want to hold this, and I'll pour the vanilla extract in, and then you'll dump it in there, okay? So hold it over the bowl. We got to do this 2 times because this is teaspoon measure. Okay, so you're going to dump that in there. 1. 2. Very good. All right, make sure you got all the last of it in there. Go ahead and dump it in, and then like kind of. Good job. Now, the recipe that I use also says you could optionally add almond extract. We're just not a big fan of that flavor, but it does make the cookies a little more flavorful, but I've always just ever used vanilla and don't really keep almond extract in my cabinet. I've tried it before, and yeah, but if I don't have it, I don't worry about it. So we are just going to do the vanilla for today. But if you were adding almond extract, you could add 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon, depending upon how much of that almond flavor you want. It's actually pretty strong, so you don't need as much. So we are going to add this back to the stand mixer, and we are going to beat this until it is fully combined, about a minute on high, and scrape down the sides of the bowl as you need to. So we've gotten all of the vanilla and the egg mixed into the butter sugar mixture. And that's what it looks like. Nice and creamy, not super lumpy. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add the dry ingredients, so the flour, baking powder, salt mixture, into the wet ingredients, and we're going to combine that on low speed. And we're going to do a little bit at a time. I have a 1/3 cup measuring spoon so that Lexi can just add in a little bit at a time, okay? All right, so our dough has come together. It's super simple. It's that easy. It was really quick. So we are going to take the dough out of the bowl, and using my clean hands,
and don't forget,
we are going to...
Don't forget, guys, when you're gonna roll it out in a ball, you need to get flour on your hands so it won't stick to your hand.
That's right. So we basically got it like this. I'm just going to scrape down any leftover on the sides.
Yeah, because it was kind of like bumping up and down.
Yep. And then we are going to get any that might be stuck in the bottom.
It smells kind of good.
It smells kind of good, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of that vanilla.
So then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of put this into a little ball. And then we are going to slice it in half, okay? So you're going to take this.
Okay.
Hold it. And you are going to go right down the center here, okay? So let me show you. So like right there. So you're going to take it. Yep. And then hopefully, all right, now pick up the thing, the metal thing. Yep. And I think that's pretty even. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take these and get any last little bit off that we can. Now scrape down any last little bit on the inside. And we are going to roll these up and cover them in plastic wrap so that they can chill.
Yeah.
It's kind of like pie dough. You don't want to roll out warm
Or else they will be
cookies.
too sticky.
Yeah, it'll be too sticky to roll them out. So you kind of, like just the heat from my hands has already made this pretty soft, see? And so,
Yeah.
you want to hold that one? Put that down and hold this and see what it looks like?
Yeah.
Smells good?
Yeah.
So then we're going to form this other one into a little ball.
Yeah, that's kind of little.
And I am going to wrap them each in plastic wrap so they don't dry out while they're in the refrigerator.
Oh, that's so sticky.
Yeah. And then that way we'll be able to roll them out one at a time. And it's easier to roll them out when you cut it in half because you don't have as big of a thing to dough to work with as if you tried to roll out one big thing and then re-roll your scraps. So the nice thing about this is you can roll out one, cut out what you want to cut out, and then you can gather up your scraps and you can form them back into a ball and actually put them back in the fridge. Put it in there. So that way you can get your other chilled one out while those scraps are firming back up again. Because I always found that when I rolled out the whole thing and then I tried to re-roll my scraps, by then the dough was getting so sticky I was having to use a lot of bench flour. And it was really annoying. So this way is much easier, I have discovered.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to get these in the refrigerator. And we'll see you in about half an hour. All right, it's been a little bit now, half an hour to an hour. And Lexi pulled our dough out of the fridge.
Yeah, it's so heavy.
Yeah, when it firms up, it's a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do now is we are going to sprinkle some flour on our mat.
Yeah.
And then we are going to roll these out with our rolling pin. We ready, Lexi? Okay, so let's get a little
bit of sunflower so it won't stick on Matty. Okay, so I'm going to unwrap this.
Go ahead.
It's kind of heavy and soft. That's why you need some flour.
Mm-hmm.
On this, and sort of put on. It might be a little bit sticky. Yeah. Then I bought. Perfect!
Great job.
I'm going to set it on.
Sit it right in the center there. Can you reach? Okay, now
Now I'm going to sprinkle some flour on it. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Here, I want some.
Yep, and some for Lexi.
Yeah.
Rub your hands together. Mommy gets some on her hands. Sprinkle a little bit of flour on top of the dough.
Okay.
And then we are going to get started on rolling out our sugar cookies. So the way we cut out our sugar cookies is we arrange the cookie cutters on top of the dough before pressing them down. This way we can see exactly how many we can fit on the dough and try to fit in as many as possible. Once we press them down, we put them on our cookie sheets lined with parchment paper. I line them with parchment paper because my cookie sheets are darker in color, which can lead to a darker bottom on your cookie, and I prefer a more golden brown color and consistency for the bottoms of my cookies. Parchment paper is non-stick, so the cookies will still come right off. Once I've got them all arranged on the cookie sheet, I check to make sure that I had put all the smaller cookies that had the thinner edges on the outer edge or end of the cookie sheet. That way, if they cook a little faster and start getting brown more quickly than the others, I can pull them out easily without having to reach across a hot oven, and the rest can continue to bake. These baked in a 350 degree oven for 11 to 12 minutes, but I like to start checking my cookies at 9 to 10 minutes, especially if I have some smaller shapes, so that I can pull the ones that are starting to get golden and make sure that I don't overbake anything. Once they have baked, I let them cool on the pan for a couple of minutes, and then I transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely before icing my cookies. Icing a hot cookie with royal icing is not a good combination. All right, so we are all done baking the cookies, and now they are cooling. So I'm going to show you how to make the royal icing. It's super simple, but it takes a little bit of work, and so Lexi wanted to go eat something, and she's relaxing, and then when the icing is done, she is going to help me ice all the sugar cookies. So what you need for this recipe, you're going to need your stand mixer again, and you really are going to need your stand mixer. You do not want to do this by hand or a hand mixer. You need this attachment, this whisk. You absolutely need this because you really have to incorporate the ingredients well so that there's no lumps. So for this recipe, we are using 4 cups of powdered sugar sifted. It seems like a lot, and it makes a lot of icing. So I'm going to hopefully carefully tip that right in there. Sifting it actually helps to break up that flour. Whew, look at that cloud of dust. And break up all the lumps. Then the other thing you're going to need is 3 tablespoons of meringue powder, or you can use egg whites, but if you use egg whites, you have to buy the pasteurized kind, like in the carton, and so I would rather just use meringue powder, and I always use Wilton's, never fails me. So we're going to use 3 tablespoons of this meringue powder. It's a really fine, I feel like it smells like powdered up marshmallow. I don't really know. So then and it's really super fine. So it's like it's already been sifted. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of this meringue powder. And there's not really any lumps with this. You just see the dust cloud with all these fine powders. And then this is just going to be our base icing, and it will look white. And then beyond that, you can use food coloring, which I'll show you in a little bit. So once you have that together, the last thing you're going to do is add your water. And it takes 9 to 10 tablespoons, which is about 2/3 a cup if you do 9. I always do 9 and I add the water in there slowly. And then if I need that extra tablespoon, I can do it. But the idea is you really want to incorporate it. And when you lift up your mixer and this is up in the air, you should see the icing falling down on itself into a ribbon, and after 5 to 10 seconds that ribbon should kind of melt back into the rest of the icing, which I will show you as it's mixing. So let's get going.
So I'm going to pour in the water really slowly while the mixer is on low speed. That's approximately 9 tablespoons, but you might not need all of it, or you might need an extra tablespoon. So that's why I go slowly, and then I can adjust as needed with more or less water. If it turns out that you use too much water on the first time around, you could always add in a little powdered sugar to help thicken it back up. But I try not to do that, so err on the side of not too much as far as the water goes. Now I'm turning up the mixer to high speed, and I'm going to let that go for a couple of minutes, scraping down the sides of the bowl as needed. And now it's really coming together, and whenever you pull it up, it falls down on itself in a ribbon and melts away in 5 to 10 seconds.
All right.
All right.
What are we getting ready to do?
We're gonna frost the cookies.
We're going to ice the sugar cookies. So
Yeah,
our sugar cookies
decorate.
are out of the oven, and here's some of them, and they are delicious looking and golden brown. And this is what I'm talking about with those thinner ones. You want to pull them away from the edge because earlier than the rest, because if you don't, they'll start to brown just like that. They'll start to get a little too brown. So these are nice and golden and crispy, and they're still chewy on the inside, which is just the way you want it. So now we are going to frost our sugar cookies. And what I did was I took the royal icing and I divided it up. I left some of the royal icing white and put it in a piping bag fitted with the number 2 Wilson tip. And that is for frosting, like the edges, and then flooding. Flooding is where you just let it go in the center of the cookie. And then what I did was I divided the rest of the icing up into 3 big bowls like this for purple, orange, and gray, and then one for green.
And we're gonna add some more, and we're gonna add some stuff to make black.
Right, and when we're done with the gray for the little headstones, then we'll add more to make black for the bats and for the spider web and that type of stuff. And so, and then I left myself a little cushion of some extra white just in case. Now, I have damp paper towels over these because if you leave them sit and the air gets to them, they start to harden and form that crust on top. And so if you leave a damp paper towel over the top, it will not get that crusty layer. And these are what I use to color everything. I use Wilton's gel food coloring. I don't really care for food dye in general, but on special occasions, yes. I don't eat it myself because I'm allergic to red dye. But gel food coloring does not dilute the icing the way that if you used a liquidy like food coloring in the dropper, you need something that's similar in consistency to your icing, because otherwise it really, really dilutes it. So I have the most luck with these. And I even use this when I'm just flavoring or when I'm coloring buttercream. And then I have a whole bunch of tips. Honestly, the only one you really need for this one is a number 2, or if you've got a bigger one like a number 3 or a number 4 if you've never done this before. And a bigger tip is a little more forgiving. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go through and do everything that takes white. and then we're going to go through and do our different colors. You can choose to fill and outline your edges and then flood it and then spread around with a toothpick, or you can choose to dip. But since the ghost and the spider webs and stuff needed that extra sharp, clean edge, I'm choosing to fill them. So let's get started.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna see if I can adjust this down so you can see what we're doing. And Lexi, you're gonna help me, okay?
Yeah.
So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take everything that takes the white icing. So it's the spider web, the ghosts, and that's what we're gonna start off with. Where is some more? There's some more. They wouldn't all fit on one plate, so I had to
Get two of them.
Yes, I sure did, because we just made so many cookies.
Yeah, because I like cookies.
Some of these are a little dark around the edges because I kind of let the oven get away from me, but they're still fine. But try not to let them get this dark. I mean, they still taste fine. They just don't look visually appealing, but once you put the icing on, nobody's going to know.
Yeah, they're not going to.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to ice around the edge of our cookies, okay? You're going to pipe a border. So you're going to help me, okay?
Okay. So I've never done this before.
Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna start near the edge and we're gonna squeeze it until we see our icing coming out. Hang on. It's been sitting here for a bit, so if that happens, just take a toothpick and kind of like unclog it from the end because it will kind of harden up right at the end. And now you can see it starting to come right out. So we're going to take this and we're going to just do the edge.
That's okay if it's spilled.
If it came out the top, that's all right, baby.
Yeah, because we're going to clean it up.
So then we're just icing the edge. Following along carefully.
Yeah, and I'm squeezing so carefully. There.
Yep. And then you're going to take and you're just going to just kind of do a little bit in the center, not too much. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take this and kind of go like this. And then you are going to take a clean toothpick and you're going to take this and just swirl it around.
Like spread it like you got oopsie.
Until you see that your entire cookie is covered. Does that taste good, does it?
Yeah.
So what, you're going to clean my table for you? I don't need to wipe it up? You're going to clean it for me?
I like frosting.
All right, we almost got this one done. So this is basically your base. And then later on, we'll go back in with the black frosting and we will add the lines. So here we are. We've got one done and 3 more to go. And you want to let them fully dry, each layer, before you start on the next layer. it is late. I got icing all on my teeth from trying out one of the cookies. So we finished icing all the cookies and Lexi went to bed. And we are letting them dry underneath the vent on the stove because you really need that icing to set and get hard. So they are going to dry actually overnight. I'll turn off the vent fan before I go to bed. And then tomorrow, when they'll be completely hardened, we can package them up in these cute little boxes I have, and we are going to go deliver them to our friends. So we will see you tomorrow. Good morning. It is now the next morning. I stayed up late last night making sure that all the cookies were iced and cooling, and they are all done, and I think they turned out just adorable. So cute. I want to mention, I think I was editing portions of the video last night and I saw that I said I used number 2 tip for flooding and filling. No. For the edges and the flooding and the filling, I used number 4. And then for all the fine detail work, like the faces and the spider webs, the lettering, outlining, I used a number 2 tip because it gives you a little bit more of a fine line. And then if you squeeze out more will come out if you need a thicker line. But it's just easier for detailing to use a smaller tip. And honestly, for beginners, a bigger tip is more forgiving. So using a 4 or even a 5. But the way my set is, it goes 2, 4. So those are the 2 I have. So what I've done is separate all these cookies onto plates as to who we're giving them to. I made sure to put the initials on the gravestones, RIP, and then the initials of who they were going to. And then I found these cute little boxes at Walmart online. I don't go in and do much shopping, but I was able to find these and they're really cute, and so I built them. And then I have got the person's name of who we're giving them to. 2 of these families, we're dropping them in their mailbox, and it just says Happy Halloween from Lexi and then their name on it. And then one of the families we're actually going to visit. It's a little girl whose name is Autumn, and my husband and I used to work with her dad years ago whenever we were in college. We all worked at the same Walmart, and we have kept in touch over the years. And their little girl sent Lexi some care packages throughout her 2.5 years, and still do. And they recently just sent Lexi a Halloween package. And so Lexi wanted to make her some cookies as a thank you. We always send things back and forth to each other, but they've never actually been able to meet in person because every time we plan something, it seems like something gets in the way. Either Lexi wasn't feeling well or COVID hit. That's been the biggest one. So we are going to go outside of their front yard and wear our masks, and Lexi is going to deliver the cookies. So we are very excited for that. And I believe Autumn has her own channel. So if you would like to subscribe to her channel, she just started her channel. She's in grade school and she's learning how to edit videos and do a channel all by herself. So I will put the link to Autumn's channel in the description box below if you would like to subscribe to her channel. So we hope you enjoyed watching Lexi make these cookies. I'm going to get these packaged up so we can get on the road and deliver these. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe as Lexi is on her quest to 1,000 subscribers. Like this video and hit the bell if you'd like to see more videos. And hey, drop us a comment. We might be able to answer, assuming there's comments down below. I don't know. Sometimes there's not. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.